So when we're talking about fractions to do with regrouping, we're looking at when a fraction ends up being an improper fraction. So when you're adding across, your numerator is bigger than your denominator, okay? So the first one is not an example of that, but this is just a recap of how we add fractions. Let's read this again first. When we're adding or subtracting fractions, two things you need to think about. The first thing is that your denominator must be the same, and in each of these examples, they are the same as the other part in the sum. Okay? Does that make sense? Great. The other thing to think about is you only plus or minus the numerator. Okay? Your denominator stays the same in your answer as what is in the question. Okay? Clear so far? Put that into your answer already, please. The denominators of 5, 7, 4, and 8. You write the sums out, I don't want you to do them just yet. Okay, so remembering those things, let's do all of these sums now. Okay? So if I'm just adding the numerator, I've got 3 plus 1, 4, and then our original denominator of 5. Okay? 2 plus 6? 8. Over 7. Great. 3 plus 3? 6. Over 4. 13 plus 1? 14. Over 8. Okay, cool. Yep.
When we're adding them, will we change it to a mixed number?
That's what we're doing today. Yeah. Okay, good that you picked up on that. So what we always do when we're working with fractions is if we get an answer that is an improper fraction, we must regroup it or convert it to a mixed number. Okay? So when you be doing your sums, you write out the question, you add it up like this, and then you would have a second answer that is just changed into a mixed number. So in order to understand that concept, you need to know what these are. When your numerator is exactly the same as your denominator, the answer is always one whole. Okay? So it doesn't matter, etc. It doesn't matter if you've got 100 over 100. It always will equal one whole. Okay? So have a think about it this way. If I cut up my apple like I did yesterday into 8 pieces or 16 pieces, and some greedy person took all of those 8 pieces or all of those 16 pieces, Elfie, I'm looking at you, I'm joking, that they're taking the whole thing, aren't they? They're taking one whole apple. Okay, similarly, if you've been unfortunate to be too slow in getting a pizza and someone has taken 8 out of 8 slices, they've taken the whole one pizza. Okay? And a very full stomach.
Yeah.
Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's have a look at these now. This one here, what type of fraction is that? Not a mixed number. It's not an improper fraction. Don't pull that, please.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean. What sort of fraction is this? There's 3 types. It's not improper. It's not a mixed number. So the only other option is a, thanks for not calling out, Billy, proper fraction. Okay, that's when our numerator is smaller than our denominator. Max, listen please. That's great. Okay, so we don't need to do anything else with that. That is as simple as we can get it. But this one here, what type of number is this? What type of fraction is this now? With a hand up, not calling out Elfie. It is an improper fraction. And whenever we have that in our answer, it's not wrong, but we need to simplify it further. And we do that by changing it to a mixed number. So if I've got 8 out of 7, how many whole things do I have there? Baxter? 1. I have 1 whole. And what is left over?
1.
Think of it in pizza form, because it's 8, 7, sorry. And
1 7.
Cool. 1/7. That's exactly the right answer. It's not 1 and 1. It's 1 and 1/7. Okay? So what you think about when you're doing this is how many times does my denominator fit into my numerator? Sorry. How many times does my numerator fit into my denominator once. 8 fits into 7 one time. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then it has 1 left over. Okay? So 7 fits into 7 once, but because it's 8, there's 1 left over, so it's 1 and 1, 7. Following me now?
Yeah.
Just great. Okay. So how many times does 6 fit into 4 with some left over? How many times does 6 fit into 4 with some left over? Tom?
1 and 2 fourths.
Great. 1,
1 and a half.
and there's 2 fourths left over. And then if we were extra thinking along the right lines, that is equal to 1.5 because this is equivalent to that, and that's a lower form. So that's an excellent answer. That's good, that's really good, that's excellent. So breaking it down 3 steps. Okay? Have a go, so write these down for me. All the steps, and then have a go at simplifying this one to make it a mixed number. So again, you're asking, how many times does 14 fit into 8 and what is left over? Okay? Yes, Tom?
Do we have to write all the other things there?
I want you to write everything. Yeah. Yes, please. Max, do you have the answer? I've got a question.
Yeah, I'll start the answer to that one. But,
Yeah.
I have a question. Would we say 6 quarters, not 6 fourths?
You could say 6 quarters. Yeah. Either I think is fine. As the numbers get bigger, we normally say something over something because it's hard to say. Elfie.
I've got the answer.
Great. That's a good answer. Okay, put your hands down if you have the answer. Hand up if you have a question. Gemma?
Because it's almost the same if you like have like maybe about 1 million and then like a line and then 1 million. Would that still be one whole?
So all of the parts of the whole thing of whatever you're doing. Good question.
So since the fourth's smaller than the fifth, because there's only 4 fifths, do we not do a
Yes, you don't have to convert because then you would be left with 4 goes into 5 once and
so
it's,
it would just be 4
yeah.
0.
Yeah, so if it's already a proper fraction, you can simplify it. I'll talk about that another day, but it can't be turned into a whole number because there is not enough to make a whole. Yeah, it's less than 1. Yeah, Mitchell. Okay, know the answer. All right. Shall we do the answer? Okay, cool. So 14 over 8 is our current improper fraction. 14 fits into 8 how many times? Once. And how much is left over? We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sophie? 6 over?
8.
8. Cool. And that's it. Thank you, Sophie. So that... Okay, so I've simplified that. So you guys are actually picking up on that simplification without me actually teaching that to you at all. That's a whole other topic that you already understand, most people. Okay, so that's good. So good answer, very good answer, excellent answer. Okay, and eventually when we get to practice this more, I will expect you to always do it to that extent. Okay, and that's called simplifying fractions. Not
There are
going to
better
another
answers
day.
than 3 out of 4.
You can't make that any simpler than that. It's the same, these things are the same value, but they are simplified. So the numbers have been broken down evenly. Okay, so they're all the same value fraction. If you were to cut up a pizza that way, you would have 1 whole pizza and 6/8 of a pizza. And 6/8 is the same as 3/4. Okay, plus the 1 that you've got there.
Just more pieces.
But no one really cuts up a pizza into quarters, do they?
No.
I do.
That'd be weird. Unless you made them at home, then that's different.
Yeah, I've got tiny gluten-free ones which I have to cut into 4 pieces.
Right,
They're
like
small
small
slices.
slices. Sure. Okay, I'm going to do some more examples up on the board. So if and when you watch this video again, and you want to go and practice these examples, just pause it. Okay, and then you can do those again. Alright, so you're going to do these examples underneath those 4. Very similar to what I've got going on there.
Me. I'm away.
Just check. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we've got 8 over 10 plus 3 over 10. Thank you, Tom. Alright, this last question, guys, I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball in there, so if you're not sure how to do the last one, you can wait for me, but have a go if you... It's based on what we did yesterday and the day before.
Yes.
Okay, so as I said before, there would be, thank you, there will be about 3 levels of understanding here. The first level of understanding, thanks guys, is that you will successfully add up the fractions in this case. Second level of understanding, which I'm hoping most people will get to, is you would then convert that to a mixed number. And then the third level of understanding would be to get this question correct with all of the steps included. Okay, so remember when we're adding or subtracting and the denominators are the same, which they are in the first 3 questions, you just add the numerators. Cool. So 8 plus 3 is 11 over what? 10. Okay, so hopefully most people got that right. Second step, you need to simplify it to a mixed number. How many times does 11 fit into 10? Once, Baxter with...
Good afternoon, staff and students. Apologies for the interruption. All students are reminded that entries for the Australian Mathematics competition close tomorrow. If you would like to be involved, you must pay the nomination fee of $6.50 and give that to your core teacher. As I said, closes tomorrow. Also, gentlemen in Year 5, just a reminder there remains a little bit of lost property unnamed out in the undercover area. Also, there are a couple of towels and sleeping bags in the junior school. Please ensure that you have a look and see if you're not missing any items.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright, so again, the next one, the denominators are the same, so our answer is going to be over 5. 3 plus 8 again. How did I manage that? 11. Okay, how many times does 11 fit into 5, Archie? 2. And Ed, it is then 1 over?
1. Out of 5. 6 out of 5.
Ed?
What? 1 out of 5.
Cool. Okay, because it's 10 fits into the 5 twice, or 5 fits into 10 twice, I should say. And then remainder 1 over 5. Okay? Baxter, did you have a question? Or are you right? Yeah, I think I've been saying it the wrong way, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Please don't call out at me. Okay, this one should be over 11. So 14 plus 7 is 21. Okay, and 11 fits into 21. One time.
11. And then 11.
10 or 11.
10. And 11 at tournament. 11 at...
Now, wherever, thanks guys, sit down. I know you're busting, so tell me your answer. Whenever you see a prime number in the numerator or the denominator, you know you can't simplify any further. Okay, we've got a number of those here, 5, 11, etc. Okay, now this one, hopefully some people got this right. Can you add it in its current form? No. Because the denominators are different. So you actually only have one real choice here, because you can't make this into a 4 because the 13 is a prime number, odd and prime, and you can't divide this evenly, because you'd be dividing by 2 to get 4. You can't divide 13 by 2 and get an even number. So your only option is to work with this one here. And so I need to make this into an 8, so I do that by times it by 2. And whatever I do to the numerator. So, with your working, fellas, can we just have, this is the last part of our lesson. Shush. Thanks. Without working, you would then need to rewrite the question again so that the denominators are the same. Oopsies. 8 plus 4 over 8. So 13 plus 4 is 17. How many times does 8 fit into 17?
2. Remainder 1, 8. Remainder 2, 8.
And Elfie, remainder
1 out of 8.
Can you simplify this any further?
No.
What type of fraction is this?
Prime
It is a proper fraction.
fraction.
Starts with U, actually.
1.
Unproper fraction.
No.
An unsolvable fraction.
Unit fraction.
Oh. So it's F.
So that part of it is a unit fraction, and the same here. And here as well. Yeah, cool. Not including the mixed number part.
It's a unit fraction.
Okay, let's have a show of hands. Correct or partly correct, as in they got this one but they did not do that. Okay, correct. Fully? Partly? This one?
Archie didn't get it right.
Miss, I didn't
Archie, I believe you. You did. And who got this one right? That is great. Excellent.
I did 17 over 8.
Okay, so you got this one right. Yep, okay, just make sure to do that extra step and write that in your book. Good job, guys. I'm really proud of you.
We are smart.